Alright.
I think the idea of reincarnation may be hell.
Last one and done, baby. Now I'm just gonna sip the rest of this gravy and get the fuck out of here.
On this earth, if earth is hell, reincarnation.
Just for shits and giggles, I made the last hot sauce package because I got plenty of hot sauce here at home.
Where you're like a form of
These two honey sauces, basura. We're done. I handle my responsibilities. I'm clean. I'm done. All right, y'all. It's a full hour. Finish my water while I'm at it. What's belly?
Some lessons throughout your lives. Some lessons just like the basics, but not like events. So it's like, huh, I'm getting a feeling about this.
That would be cool. So wait. So like if you die, you get reincarnated and you forget everything.
Hence veil.
Right, but if you like
Get trapped with the humanly shit that they try to control.
what Christians would call getting saved, if you like step into the next level, then when you die, you're reincarnated, but you remember.
Not everything. You just remember some of the lessons, like basic language and stuff like that. You know, like
That would be interesting. Then the question would be, well, how come we've never seen anybody that remembers their past lives?
because they're not here.
And it's like
It's in a
because none
further
of them
time
are
scale than where we're at right now.
none of them are perfect except Jesus. And it
And Jesus did come back, actually.
and Jesus did come back,
He
right?
been to the end. He been to the end of the universe and came back and says, there's something you need to know about the end.
I think he started at the ends of the universe with
He did.
God, and then he came to Earth, and then he went to hell, and then he came back to Earth, and then he went back to it. So it was a full circle.
That's what I'm saying. The reincarnation that man tries to make. But if you try to get the one that God makes, the reincarnation one, that one's better. Because I don't want to freaking remember every little detail about my life and do the same damn thing every fucking time because I'm the exact same person.
Yeah.
Because my upbringing would be different if I was raised.
Or you're a dang turtle.
No, that.
Could be reincarnated as a dang turtle or a
Shit,
squirrel.
that'd be bad. He's like, you know what, you freaking dumb, slow motherfucker. Instead of being human, you get to be punished as a turtle. Uh-oh. It does say he can do anything, right?
Who?
The Bible.
God?
Yeah. It does say he can do anything in his name.
I don't know, I might say something like that. He can't break the laws of logic.
But technically, if I'm dead, there is no logic. I'm just.
There's still I don't know. Maybe on a different universe there is no logic, but
Like, think
then
about it. If I'm in the void, like, just waiting for a new body, he's like, okay, well, since you fucked up in your last life, now you're going to be a turtle and be an example. That would suck. But I don't want to be turtle soup.
being a sea turtle would be cool. No, it wouldn't be cool because from birth, you're like struggling.
Fuck, worse than humans. We got it easy. They have to run from birth from freaking seagulls and crabs and shit. Trying to eat them. Humans, we got it easy.
I'm gonna kill this Skeletron. I gotta wait till night though.
Yeah.
Are you leaving?
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah, you should probably.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Let me take a last sip of this. Ooh. Yeah, it's strong. It's like 20. Yeah. It's like a weak schnapps. But it's definitely stronger than wine.
I think what it could have been maybe is that you know how I put ever clear the carboy in the little bubble thing. but they overbuild it. Then it moved backwards because of the hot cold treatment, and the Everclear fell into the meat. And that shouldn't do much, but
No, that would be like
21%
a teaspoon of Everclear and 6 gallons of mead.
is like nothing.
Yeah.
Still, it's pretty good.
Tastes like apple crisp or something. Like,
Very crispy.
all right, I'll see you later. Thanks. Caller needs his volume, but oh, that was my neighbor. That was the neighbor. He was letting me drink some of his mead and brought me some what rhymes with mead. What's up, DJ and Paul? Yes. We were talking about what the hell were we just talking about? We were talking about I've had this thought a lot. I've been thinking about this. That hell, so that I don't believe in like Dante's, 9 levels of paradise, purgatory, and hell. But for hell, I do think there could be like levels of hell. And so I do believe that there is a hell, a physical hell in earth and on earth and all around us. And it's interesting. Me and Shane were just talking about that, and that's the biblical question. But I we were just talking about it for another reason. It led into it because I've been thinking about this for years, trying to work on this. Buddhists could be they could be on to something. They could be on to something with reincarnation. Reincarnation, if hell is on earth, right? And then Sheol, which is a deeper level of hell, that's like for the murderers and like a deeper level of hell is Sheol. That's the burning and the gnashing of teeth for eternity in the pits down there in the pits, and that's where Satan lives, and that's where the giants and the dragons and all these biblical monsters. The Leviathan protects. Maybe it's in the Marianas Trench somewhere. There's a tunnel that leads down there. Maybe there's multiple tunnels. Maybe there's tunnels in Alaska. Maybe there's tunnels in LA. Maybe there's tunnels. Maybe there's reptilian creatures, snake-like people, lizard-like people that come up from the pits and the depths of the earth from Sheol onto the next level of hell, which is earth, which is where we're walking around every day. But anyway, so Buddhism could be a real thing. And that's like you died and you went to hell, meaning you're going to live your life over again, but it's going to be a different life. It's going to be the life of a squirrel. You're going to be collecting nuts all day because you were gay in your previous life or something like that. And they just keep, and then after they live squirrel life, then they get another chance as a human. And it's like, let's see if you get it right this time. And you didn't get it right. You didn't get it right. You were, you were dang running around like a hooker. So we're going to bring you back as a bitch. I mean, a female dog. And you're just going to get humped all day by all the other dogs. You're going to be a female dog in the pound. That's hell. But when you get it right, when you get it right, then you leave that hell. You go somewhere different. That's deep. That's deep. Shouldn't you be punished for being gay by not collecting nuts all day? Ooh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You're going to be restricted. You're going to have a nut restriction. You're never going to get to see a nut again. You're going to be a squirrel in a cage. Despite all my rage, I am still just a squirrel in a cage. Hold on. Where the heck did my cigaros go? Hey, check this out. Look what I got last night. Look what I had. Hold on, I gotta find my jacket. Look what I got. Boom! Got something to do on Friday night. Friday night snore stream. Lego snore stream. Lego snore stream on Friday. This is not the ship I wanted. The one I wanted is $70, and it's a collector's selection one. And I could just scalp it. I could just buy it at Walmart for $70 and sell it for 95 on Amazon. But I'm not trying to make $15 or whatever. But I want to build it. But I couldn't justify getting it because I got bills coming up and rent and all that stuff. So I didn't get the big one that I wanted. But this was on rollback. This was on sale, boy. Got it for like $17. I was just like, I'll scoop this up. We'll just put it together real quick. We got Legos to do on Friday. This is Obi-Wan's little speeder deal. And look, this is the most collectible things about these is the minis. Sometimes people will buy big ass sets just because the minifig is exclusive in the set. And the minifigs are where the money's at. And this is a crazy, usually like unique, crazy minifigs are often real collectible. And this one has like a long neck. I don't even know what this is from. Star Wars Obi-Wan. Is this from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Have not watched it. Have not watched it. But I got the toy. I got a toy. Freaking nerds. Let's go. Dope. Dope. All right. Hold on one second. I was watching Mr. Mad's food review. Is it over? Just ended? I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. What the heck, man? I wonder where the cigaros are. What the heck? Okay. Now, let's put these headphones on. Food review, KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken. What up, Mr. Mad? That's not even like, that's just a normal box of KFC. It's not a new item. It's not a new menu item. It's not some crazy new like chicken, cheese and sauce bites or something like that. It's just he just bought a regular ass box of chicken and he's and he's like, I'm gonna do a food review. Let's go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. What's up, Stopper One? We I only got 2 bosses left, Stubborn One, and I get to move on to the next difficulty, where you basically play through the whole game again, but everything's harder. And then the third time you do it is the last one, and there's new bosses in each difficulty. Uh, but the second to last boss, I should have one shot last night. I don't know if you were here, but I was dilly dallying. I gotta wait till nighttime. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Come here, Burp. Let me find a video to play. It was a new menu item. It was the KFC Cheesa. Oh, I read it wrong. Okay, my bad. But it looked like you were just eating a piece of chicken. Cheesa and world's first Cheesa double down. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just needed to keep reading the title. I didn't know what this meant. Chizza and Chizza's world's Chizza double down. It looked like you were just eating a piece of chicken when I turned it on. I didn't catch the whole thing, but it just looked like a piece of fried chicken. It's a brand new product. It was pepperoni, mozzarella, and marinara on breaded chicken patty. Oh, the part you saw was the aftermath. Okay. Yeah. Just me being fat. No. You gotta get. You went fried. I used to like fried, but I think original recipe is better. Or yeah, it's like lightly fried. It's got that herbs and seasonings. Pro-choice student offended by basic logic. I don't want to watch that right now. I'm not in an abortion mood. Not in abortion mode. Damn, that girl thick. What the heck? She's lifting a. What the? I can't stand women weightlifters. You guys can't see what I'm seeing. Do you see what I see? Look at this. That's gross. Frightening. That's frightening. I'm seriously frightened by that. Frightened. Hold on, I closed the chat box on accident. You guys want to see some of this Bryce Mitchell and JP Uncut or Unchained? What? I think he has multiple channels. Flat Earth debate, or what do you want to watch? Somebody sent me something cool to watch with no copyright music. Something interesting. Preferably no giant YouTubers that will copyright my stuff. Like, unfortunately, Theo Vaughn. All the comedians. I can't play Flagrant. I can't play Theo Vaughn. I can't play nothing. All the comedians. Joe Rogan, I can't play. None of that. Let me when you holler at that McDouble. Original is better when it's done properly. True. I worked at KFC. I worked at every fast food joint. Every fast food joint. All of them. Let's see. The Wonders of Wednesday. What about the Ritz Crunchy Melt? I guess I'll just pull it up because even if we just watch the intros, it was on. What channel was it on? It was on Bryce Mitchell, JP. Ruslan, that's how I should have found it. See, Ruslan's probably gonna strike me. I bet you Ruslan strikes me. Ah.
Arby's roast beef sandwiches, now 4 for $10.
30 years ago, the convent
What about Arby's?
stole our children.
Someone's trying to cover their tracks. No one has something.
Next Dune movie's coming out. I still haven't read the dang book. And I'm gonna probably end up watching the movie Bootleg. That's a movie I probably would want to go watch in the theater. I haven't went to the theaters forever since I found this dang bootleg site. It's sad. I like going to the movies. alone. My favorite thing used to be to buy a little flask and just go up in the movie theater with it and just sip that piece and watch a movie. Get a little pint or whatever they call it. All right. Get over
To do with all of this.
This is a flat Earth debate between, man, I gotta shout him out properly because he's been in the chat before. He's a cool guy. I'd like to talk to him one day. JP, not Ruslan. JP Unchained? What is it? JP Uncut. This channel. He gets in beefs with all the crazy Christian guys. This guy, Sham Shimon. Oh, he's denouncing Sham Shamoon. Nice, JP. I'm glad. Because when he started getting some big names on his channel. He has 5,000 subs on this channel, but he has another channel where he talks about basketball where he's got like millions of. He's a much bigger channel. And so that's why when he started this channel, he didn't have a lot of subscribers. I was like, how's he getting all these big names on here? He's talked to everybody. And it's because he's popular in another thing. I don't follow basketball, so I didn't know that. But he would have the Sham Shamoon guy. I found him through this guy's channel. And I was like, yo, I don't even like that. Like, this guy, Sham Shamoon, in the thumbnail here. Somebody called, one of his D riders called into JLP and was like, you need to debate Sham Shamoon about the Trinity. This guy, don't listen to this guy, Sham Shamoon. This guy is a demon. I'll call him a demon. I don't care. There's a funny short, Dalton Pruitt. Dune is so boring. The book or the movie? You thought the movie was boring? I thought it was pretty good. I could see. Or are you talking about the new one? Don't spoil nothing, Bibby. You work in a movie theater. Sorry, I doxed. Damn, I doxed Bibby. Bibby's got like 12 jobs, so that's not really doxing him. But yeah, this guy's Sham Shamoon, and now he's sure enough. And then this guy, I did a review on one of this guy's videos. If I click on the thumbnail, it goes away, so I can't put my mouse on it to show you guys. But if you go directly up from where my mouse is now, the guy with the red eyes, the bald guy with the red eyes, that guy, all that guy does is talk about what other Christians are doing wrong. And I don't know most of these other dudes, but this guy, Sham Shamoon, and this bald guy, directly above the white bald guy with the red eyes. Yeah, I'm glad JP's. It took him a while. He trusted them at first, or maybe it was just to get views and stuff because they're growing channel. Sam's got a big channel. I don't know, but I was like, these people make the Trinity look worse. Like, they're not doing you any favors, JP. Having these guys on to help or to debate Trinity people. But JP's kind of the same way. Like, he'll call you a heretic. He'll say you're gonna go to hell because you don't believe in the Trinity, and he'll straight up call you a heretic. And that's they always like, who decides what a heretic is? Heretic just means they don't believe the accepted narrative. Anybody who goes against the accepted narrative is a heretic. So, or the most popular narrative. I don't think we're supposed to go with the most popular narrative. But anyway, so JP and Bryce Mitchell from the UFC did a dang flat Earth debate. And JP doesn't like flat Earth, and neither do I. That he usually won't debate it with people, but this is a big debate. Like, if I could talk to Bryce Mitchell, I'll talk to Bryce Mitchell about flat Earth. That would be amazing.
Let's make sure we say, oh, you're gonna get it right now. Okay, cool.
Ruslan has a giant. He's a rapper, pastor on YouTube guy.
Okay, so challenge
I'm
me
not
to
a
a
fan
debate.
of him. I don't like dislike him or anything, but I don't know. They all do videos where they break down why people are heretics because they don't believe in something that they believe in. Instead, just prove them wrong. And then when you get to a debate, they start throwing out big words that were made up by philosophers and church fathers and stuff that are just crazy. It's like the medical field when you get into like a Trinity debate with a hardcore Trinitarian. They're doing a lot of like reading between the lines and a lot of adding and subtracting and twisting things to make it fit their narrative and making a bunch of big old words, hermeneutics and words I don't even know, like that they'll just drop flippantly. And it's like, what are you, a doctor? And sure enough, most of them probably do have some sort of formal education. But it doesn't make, like, it's simpler if you just go off what Jesus said and just, it's much simpler. I think God's ways are simple. Wasn't Galileo called a heretic because he believed in round ball earth? Probably. And the people who call people heretics for not going with the accepted narrative are usually the wrong ones. They're usually the elites, and they're the ones who are trying to push the wrong idea. So I think Galileo was probably based, and the elites who were pushing the flat Earth narrative, who were calling him a heretic and saying they're going to cut off your head because you don't believe in the flat Earth. Look, it says in the Bible flat Earth. Look, it says in the Bible Trinity, and neither of those things are really in there. So Galileo was the based one in that scenario.
One of my rules is I don't things right. We want to agree debate. So here is the format for the debate. We are going to have 5 to 10 minute openings. Okay,
Right.
I'm
going to
see Thug Nasty, and we have my man, YouTuber,
Thug
extraordinaire, debater, JP Uncut. All right, so welcome them to the stream, ladies.
And I love Bryce Mitchell, but I gotta disagree with him hardcore on this one because he's not gonna make any good arguments. We'll go,
gentlemen. All right. And let's jump into it. So Bryce offered to let JP pick who goes first. And so JP said, since it's first debate, Bryce can go first. Let me get this clock on the screen. And if you're enjoying this so far, make sure you smash that like button, drop a 1 in the chat. And we are now going to start the clock. Bryce is going to lay out to us in 10 minutes or less why he believes the earth is flat. And Bryce, you're good to go. Let me know when I can start the clock.
Yes, sir. We can start it. And I want to say thank you so much, Ruslan, for having me on. Thank you so much, JP. If I didn't respect you guys and I didn't love you guys, then this debate would mean nothing to me, and I wouldn't even do it because I don't waste my time talking to people that don't respect me and love me. And guys, I just can't tell you how thankful I am to be here, how appreciative I am that you're giving me this platform, and I'm happy.
All right.
So first thing I've got to do is just talk about what's really going on. Okay, they're lying.
What's really going on?
Now, the reason that they're lying is because they don't want people to come to Christ. It's that simple. It's simplified. Okay,
I agree with that.
Basically, flat Earth, evolution. I'm sorry, spherical Earth, spinning Earth. Okay, evolution.
Now, here's the big thing that a lot of flat earthers are going to do. They're going to argue the spinning Earth and the speed of Earth and the heliocentric model. But that's not what the debate's about. The debate's not about, is the Earth spinning? Is it motionless and still? Or is the sun the center of the universe? Is the sun the center of the galaxy? Is the Earth the center of the universe? Is the Earth the center of the galaxy? None of that matters. We're just talking about the shape of the Earth. This all that spit when they talk about the Earth spins at 600, which he's gonna do all the talking points. When the Earth spins at 666 miles per hour and do their numerology and stuff, all that's irrelevant to whether the Earth is round or flat.
And Big Bang, they all go hand in hand. Okay, so through these tools, Satan is convincing people there's not a God. Well, I'm here to tell you the Big Bang is incorrect. I can prove that. We didn't come from monkeys. I can prove that.
I agree.
And the earth is flat and has a firmament, just like the Bible says. And I can prove that.
You can't prove that.
So I can prove mainstream science.
No, you can prove that we didn't come from monkeys. You can prove, you cannot prove that the Big Bang didn't happen. The Big Bang could have happened. That could have been God's way of snapping the world into existence. And then over the days, he put it together. We can't prove either of those things. Or we can prove that we did not come from monkeys. I believe that's provable. And I believe they've never proven that we have come from monkeys. That's why they need their missing link. It's never been observed. You can't experiment with it. You can't test with it to show that we came from monkeys, other than making up some double helix DNA and saying that we have 99% DNA shared with a banana. Then I guess then you can get to monkeys. But otherwise, there's no provable, testable, observable way to prove we came from monkeys. He's right about that. Big Bang, I don't believe it happened like that. Or if it is, it's just a semantics thing. Like maybe there was a Big Bang, but that was God who did the Big Bang to start the universe. But it's not when they say it happened. It didn't happen when they say it happened. So kind of agree with them. Big Bang's not really provable, and the way they explain it is wrong. They're just making a lot of guesses, and he's right. It's trying to take us away from God and the creation story. But where he loses me is where he says that flat earth is a lie, because this is just not historical. This is backwards. Historically, it was the opposite. They told us the world was flat, and if we questioned it, we were heretics. They didn't want people to explore. They didn't want people to use what God gave us, which is our brain, to figure stuff out. They wanted to stifle all that, and they wanted to hold us down. So they told us the world was flat. You can't go explore. So he's right about what he's saying, but he's got it flipped. He's got like this modern day brain where we don't think about what already happened, and we're going backwards now. He's going back to where now he's calling people heretics who were called heretics for questioning the narrative back then. They questioned the narrative back then, and they figured out the truth using observations, using our eyes and our brains that God gave us. We figured out that the elites were lying to us. The world is not flat. We figured it out. And now he's trying to reverse back to that.
Is pushing this in all of our kids' schools. Okay? And I can prove all three of these things wrong.
No, you can't.
And they're teaching these lies.
He's not going to prove anything
so
in this
you
debate.
got to be understanding of what's going on. They're lying intentionally to get people to not understand that you can look up and see heaven.
And listen, I would never want to fight Bryce Mitchell. That would be a bad idea. But I would tell him to his face, you're wrong about this. And I've pre-watched this video, and I'm going to pause it a lot, and I'm going to talk because this is my show. And if you guys want to watch the full thing, you can watch it on Ruslan's channel, Bless God Studios. Just Google search Bryce Mitchell JP debate. But he doesn't prove anything in this video. In fact, he's going to say, I don't know a whole lot. But why do you talk about stuff if you don't know about it? Like, don't debate. I would never go into a debate and ever say I don't know. Unless they ask me a question I don't know, but my goal as someone who's going into a debate is to know all the questions that they're going to ask me before they ask me. You don't go into a debate unprepared.
Okay? So,
You saw the same tape.
I'm just going to go ahead and get into some scripture now. I've categorized these, and there's probably infinite categories, but here's the categories that I made. The firmament / heavens. The earth being immovable and the shape of it being described, the genealogies, which indicate the actual course of history from Adam, claiming that we didn't come from millions and millions and millions of years of cavemen turning into people or whatever. Okay. The genealogies disprove that. So if you believe the genealogies, it's hard to believe the other one. Okay, impossible. I would
I
say.
got a rebuttal for that.
And then the sun and the moon and the stars, and basically it's every time that they're described, it would contradict the NASA prerogative.
It's going to
Okay, so
contradict
I'm going to
what you
start
say
with the
too.
firmament.
You think they're luminaries. You don't even think that they're actually physical
This
things.
is Genesis 1:6 through 8, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters." Okay, so right there in Genesis, bam, we have the creation of a firmament. Now, I can go on and on about what the firmament probably is. I don't really know, but I know in Job.
So why are you talking about it?
Um,
I'll tell you what I know about the firmament, but tell me what you know, Bryce.
37:18 through 21, it describes it being kind of like molten glass. It says, "Hast
Or like
thou
water.
with him spread out?"
You know what else looks like molten glass? Water. If there was a giant dome of water, it would look like molten glass. And it's also exactly what it is was described in the verse that he just read. He separated the waters from the waters. The firmament was a layer of water that was above. So there was the waters on the earth and the lands, and then there was the waters above, the firmament. Now the firmament was a dome-like thing from you're standing on the ground. It's gonna look like the sky. Also, firmament is also sky. Firmament can be used to the word they use could just be sky. In some verses, it means space. In some verses, it means sky. But the verse he's talking about is where God separated the waters from the waters. So there was a layer of water. But it doesn't have to be a dome. If it was a dome, it wouldn't make any sense because I'm going to explain to you when the flood happened, it had not rained up until that point. There's a reason nobody had a boat except Noah because people didn't know what rain was and they hadn't figured out boats yet. And God had to teach Noah how to build a boat. Noah built a boat. Everybody called him crazy. They were like, "What are you doing, Noah? What are you building a boat in the desert for?" And Noah said, I know you guys don't have umbrellas because they haven't been invented yet and rain has never happened before, but it's going to rain. They're like, "What's rain, Noah?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Just stay away from my boat." And they're like, "Okay, whatever, Noah. You're crazy. You're a crazy old man." And then they left. Then the waters of the firmament broke. Now, imagine, if you will, I need to pull out my paint. Where's my MS Paint? Check this out. Imagine, if you will, Earth is flat, and here's your waters, which is your firmament. Okay. And then here's Noah building his boat. Okay. They've never had rain before, right? Now, the firmament breaks and the flood happens. How do you explain this water? Like, okay, so this is the edge of the earth, right? The earth is flat. The firmament goes to the edge of the earth. There's no, y'all can see what I'm drawing, right? Okay. There's no edge here. Empty space. That's not the eraser. That's the wrong eraser. But anyway, when the flood happens on the flat earth, okay? The firmament breaks, the rains come down. Boom, boom, boom. All of this stuff is coming down. What is this water? Well, first off, what does down mean? And the flat earthers really struggle with this one. What does down mean? Because if down does not mean towards the center of gravity, because they don't believe in gravity, then there's really no down here. And if this is the vacuum of space, they believe the firmament separates us from the vacuum of space, which they don't know what vacuum means for the most part. They think it means sucking. It doesn't mean sucking. It just means the absence of air. When the firmament breaks, the water would go everywhere. The water would go out to space. The water would fall off the edge with waterfalls. You'd have waterfalls pouring over the edge. You'd have some of it coming down here to Noah and his boat, but essentially, the boat would never lift off the freaking ground because all the water from the firmament would have just came down to this flat dish and spilled off the sides and gone into space because of the vacuum, the sucking vacuum of space, right, flat earthers? So how does the flood happen? The flood doesn't happen. It doesn't make sense. I can draw you a cartoon drawing and explain why this doesn't make sense. It's very simple. Now, let me pose to you another option. Don't save. Let me pose to you that the world is round and that hell is at the center of the earth. Oop. Okay. Right? When it says Jesus went down to the depths, or actually I think it says he went to the core, he went to the heart of the earth is the word they use. So let's picture an earth with a heart. This is the heart right here, the heart of the earth. This is Sheol, this is hell. And then we have waters on the earth, and we have land on the earth, and we have this thing called gravity. God didn't name it gravity. Some scientist, probably a Christian scientist who was a smart guy and a thinker, thought about it, and he said, well, something pulls down. What is down? Let's make up this thing called gravity. And then later, other scientists figured out math equations to demonstrate this and observe it and prove it and do math equations to make predictions. This is all using the brain that God gave us. Praise the Lord. Figures out that that down is towards the center of gravity, because in space there would be no down. I guess you could use a relative. Down is just a subjective relative thing. So down could be my feet. If I'm in space, I would guess that down would be where my feet are. But if we're in space, but the flat earthers don't believe in space because they can't possibly get their brain to start twisting about these things. And if that offends you, flat earthers, I'm sorry, but whatever. Calling somebody dumb is the lowest, like, come on, we're past second grade. You can handle it. If we're in space and I say my feet are down, but somebody else's feet are by my feet, then their feet are down. So down is subjective, right? The best way we can explain down from a relative point on Earth is our inertial reference frame, is the center of gravity. Down is towards the center of gravity. So down is always this way. Oops, hold on. Down is always towards the middle, towards Sheol, towards the heart of the earth, hell. Okay, now consider there is a firmament, which is the separation of the waters from the waters. From anybody's standpoint, it's going to look like a dome. It is a dome. It's just a circular dome around the entire circle of the earth. And the heart of the earth is hell. When the flood happens, Noah's Ark is just chilling over here. Noah's Ark is chilling on the surface of the earth. When the flood happens, all of this water comes down, which is towards the center of the earth. You don't have to call it gravity, but it makes sense that what would happen is you would have a flood. You'd have all this water concentrated on this smaller ball. A bigger ball of water is now concentrated on a smaller ball of water. Therefore, your boat floats. Wow. Crazy. So your firmament is gone now. Now the firmament is the atmosphere. It's not the same as the firmament back then, because the firmament of the waters, the separation of the waters, came down and made a flood. My thinking is gravity doesn't exist. It's weight and pressure. If you deep dive, you encounter the same. There's no gravity pulling you down. Yeah, that's buoyancy and water pressure. That's because that just proves gravity, Lord Spike. I'm sorry, but the reason that the water pressure is higher as you go deeper in the water is because of the column. It's the gravity column. So every square inch of water you have if you're down here diving, anyway, I don't want to argue with you, Lord Spike, but you keep believing that. But it's not true what you just said, and there's a reason. Well, what you said is true. There is more pressure as you go deeper, but gravity explains that. Buoyancy and pressure does not explain that. And smarter people than me, smarter people than you can explain this. And then if you understand, basically, the deeper you go, you have more waters, and that's because you're getting closer to the center of gravity, and you have more distance of water built up on you, plus the distance of the air to the atmosphere built up on you. And that's why the pressure gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Pressure gets bigger and bigger with air too. It's the same thing if you go higher. If you go higher, air pressure gets less. So when they talk about how we need a firmament to separate the vacuum of space, no. If that was true and that there was some glass dome around us that separated us from the vacuum of space, then as you went higher on a mountain or you went higher in altitude, the air would not get thinner. The air would stay at one consistent level. The air pressure would stay at one consistent level throughout the thing. And if gravity didn't exist, then there would be no water pressure. There would be no water pressure because water wouldn't have it wouldn't be being pulled down. There would be no weight to water. If we had a bubble of water in space, check this out. If we had a bubble of water in space and we were swimming in it, and I'm swimming in this bubble of water, okay, it doesn't matter. Well, let's say I'm tiny. I'm tiny. I'm tiny. I'm tiny. This is a planet-sized bubble of water in space. First of all, a bubble of water wouldn't exist without gravity, but this bubble of water doesn't exist. But if this bubble of water existed, no matter where I swam in this floating bubble of water in space, the water pressure would be the same. Because the reason that we have water pressure is because the deeper you go, the more weight being pulled down towards the center of gravity you have above you. That's why water pressure happens. That's why pressure happens. That's why weight happens. That's why the gravity definitely exists. If you don't want to call it gravity, that's fine, but it's not buoyancy. It's not pressure. It's not electrostatic, as Witsit gets it, stealing from Tesla likes to claim. That's all been disproven by smarter people than us. So anyway, let's get back to the debate. I think I explained that pretty well.
Out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking
It's at least better explanation than I don't know. I don't know.
glass.
And Lord
Okay,
Spike's Lord Spike at least has a proposition, whereas Bryce just said I don't know in a debate, bruh. Like, you're on Ruslan's channel because you're popular for your fighting platform. But then you show up to a flat earth debate and on a giant channel. Not a good look for the flat earthers, I'm just saying.
Describing the firmament. Now, basically, if you ever seen a rainbow, you ever want
A vacuum is the lack of pressure. So there would be no pressure in space. That's why the bubble wouldn't exist. The water bubble wouldn't exist in space. Water pressure is different than vacuum. The vacuum of space is lack of pressure.
wonder why a rainbow has its shape? You know, when you shine a light into a flat prism and the light reflects, it always reflects straight because the prism is flat.
If there was a firmament dome layer, then the air pressure on Earth within the dome would be consistent. It'd be like if you had a glass ball. If you have a glass ball and you have air inside of it at a certain pressure, that air is consistent inside of that dome. Consistent pressure. I'm saying we don't have a firmament because as you go higher in altitude, the air gets thinner. You can just do this yourself. Go climb a mountain. It gets harder to breathe as you go up because the air pressure gets thinner. Once you get to space, so it gets thinner, 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 and then there's none left. That's when you're in the vacuum of space. It's simple. And the reason for that is gravity. The molecules of air. Space is just no molecules. There are molecules. Our air is molecules and stuff floating around. Oxygen and hydrogen and all these things floating around. And the gravity pulls them towards the earth. But as you get farther from the gravity, there's less molecules and there's less air. And then you get to where there's no air. The faster you travel in space, the more time dilation you experience. Facts. I agree.
You ever seen that cover of the Pink Floyd album? You know, with the prism and the light hits it, the straight rainbow comes out. Okay, happens every time. How is that
time.
rainbow curved every time?
Every
what
time
I'm telling you
every
is
time.
that there's a firmament in the shape of a rainbow.
Oh, okay.
And that's how the rainbow gets its shape. These are proofs. These are facts, and I'm telling you them.
It's not a fact.
And you don't have to believe them, but I'm telling you what I'm saying is in conjunction with Scripture, and it's proven that NASA is not only wrong, they're deliberately wrong. They're malicious. They're satanic. Okay? NASA.
Okay.
Add a T, you get the word Satan. When they're launching their rockets, they say T minus. Cross minus, T minus. If you add a T to NASA, you get the word Satan. NASA in Hebrew.
Come on, bro.
To deceive.
And like, if you're being funny, I see this as a troll and it's funny, but he's not trolling. He's passionate about this and serious about this. He probably, well, I don't know. Yeah, he'd probably punch you in the face over this, you know? You're gonna get your ass whooped by Bryce and Gray if you call him out about this in public. Like, if you said, Bryce, come on now. Come on now, man. Tighten up. He's gonna hit you. He's dedicated to this. It's scary.
Okay?
Okay.
They're saying that the earth is tilted at a 66.6 degree angle. Guys, they're putting Freemasonry symbolism right in your face, and people really don't understand it. So here's my question.
Now, what if I told Bryce that the Trinity is Freemasonry symbolism? What if I told him that? He'd probably get real mad about that. What if I told JP that? They'd both get mad about that.
Is if the world is expanding and constantly spinning, how is the world tilted at a 66 degree axis? Wouldn't it be changing, spinning every day? You see what I'm saying? So they're deliberately injecting satanic numerology into this government organization called NASA. They're lying because they don't want you to believe the Bible. The Bible does not say that the earth is spinning. It says that it is firm and immovable. So
we're not talking about
get into
spinning.
some more
we're talking about
scripture
flat.
now regarding the shape.
He's going to use a bunch of metaphors here, and he's not taken out of context. Typical. But spinning is irrelevant. Oh no, this is the epitome of conspiratorial mindset. That dude sounds like that episode of South Park. I like a spicy chicken breast as well.
Shape of the earth and how it moves. First Chronicles 16:30. All the earth, the world also, shall be stable, that it may not be moved. Psalm 104:5. Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever? Psalm 96:10. The world also shall be.
Hold on, I just want to look up one of these. The world is firmly established, it cannot be moved. He will judge the people with equity. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad, let the sea resound of all that is in it. So does Bryce also think that the sea also is going to proclaim God's voice? Is the sea going to sing? Hold on, that's not a good example. But like Psalms means songs. A psalm is a song, right? David was an artist. David had a little bit of that feminine spirit. He hung out in the pastures all day watching his sheep graze, and he wrote songs. He wrote songs. He wrote music. I just want to sing to the Lord. He is. Is Jesus real? Did we really marry Jesus? Or who's the husband? The husband wife. The husband wife. Are we actually physically sheep? Like, I don't have wool. Nobody's ever sheared me, but I don't have wool. You're taking Psalms is a book of poetry. Isaiah was dream interpreting. A lot of this stuff is imagery, and it's allegory, and it's hyperbole, and it's all these poetic. It's poetry. It's words. It's writing, and they're using Hebrew words. And Hebrews had like 1/12 the number of words that we had, and they're writing music and songs and stuff. And this is where, oh my Lord, come on, man, tighten up.
Be established that it shall not move. Psalm 93:1.
No, the book of Enoch was never considered part of the Bible because it was found years later, and it doesn't add up. It doesn't seem to fit the book of Enoch is apocrypha that was found years later that now they're trying to push on people, and everybody thinks it's like the. It doesn't add up. It doesn't fit.
The world also is established that it cannot be moved. Now, that also is.
The writer was a Buddhist, from what I heard. The book of Enoch is a scam.
Comparing it to God in the verse before. God also, like the earth, shall not be moved. I believe the world in the sense that the Bible describes it. I do not believe what NASA tells me, and I know that they are satanic. I don't think they're satanic.
You don't have
I know
to
they
believe
are.
what NASA tells you.
Which, if you know about Project Paperclip,
they always say this. I don't believe in NASA. NASA is Satan. NASA means deceit. Okay, the NASA is Satan thing. He said add a T to NASA and it's Satan. No, it's NASAT. That's not even Satan backwards. You're doing a, what's it called when you have a bunch of mixed up letters? I can't think of the word right now. An anagram? No. Anyway, you got a bunch of mixed up letters and you just made a word out of it. Come on, dude. And also, Satan isn't even the right. Anyway. And then they're like, NASA means deceit in Hebrew. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You don't know any Hebrew. Space shuttle rockets move at speeds ranging from 3,000 to 17,000, while water jets with abrasive sand can cut steel. So the firmament would ruin a space trip. 3,000. Right, but I don't believe in the firmament. The firmament came down. There's no more water up there. There's nothing up there. I don't believe in the firmament. They think the firmament is like a glass dome. I don't think the firmament is there anymore. Or depends on what firmament is used a bunch of different ways. So yes, the sky is there, space is there. Those are both firmaments. Both used as called firmaments in the Bible, which is where what they're debating about. So if we're going biblically, firmament could be the water layer that broke and came down during the flood. So that's gone. That's not there anymore. That's the molten glass that they're talking about in Job. Or space or the sky could both be firmaments later on in the Bible. The same word is used. Because again, Hebrews didn't have all these words that we have. So they just called the word that's used that we've translated into firmament is used all throughout the Bible. Sometimes it's used to mean sky. Sometimes it just means above your head is the whatever's above your head is the firmament. So if we have been to space, the firmament must not have been replaced after the flood. So why is it there in the first place? I don't know enough about the Bible to know what it says about that. I think it was there. This is speculation. It doesn't say because the Bible's not a book of science. The Bible's not supposed to teach us about science. But I think, this is my speculation, that it is there to protect us from the sun. It was there to protect us from the sun, and that's why people lived 900 years before the flood. I don't think there was rain. I don't think there was storms. I don't think there was natural disasters like we have today. Um, I think the firmament was there to protect us. It was a protective layer. People lived 900 years, and then the flood happened, and people's lifespans went down to 120 years because now the firmament's not there anymore. Now we have storms. Now we have tornadoes. Now we have hurricanes. Now we have uh, the sun burning us up while we're working in the fields all day. We don't have perfect climate everywhere anymore because it would be like a terrarium. Earth would be like a terrarium, almost like God built a terrarium. It would be a perfect climate all throughout, evenly distributed. And maybe the world wasn't moving then. Maybe God had it figured out to where the world was stable. And then maybe he said, you know what? I'm gonna take the firmament out. I'm gonna spin this bitch. God wouldn't say that. That's black. Well, but he spun the top. And then he sent us off on this journey of spinning around the sun until one day we get sucked into it. But no, I think the firmament was there to protect us. It was a shield, and that's why people lived 900 years. And then God saw that they were all a bunch of scumbags, and he said, I'm going to limit your life to 120 years, and I'm taking down your shield. You're going to have to deal with the sun now. You're going to have to deal with the light. This big ball of light that I made, this giant ball of fire that I put right here. I don't think the Bible's a science. Yeah, well, I don't know what you mean by that. Science is Latin for knowledge, knowledge, to know. So the Bible is full of knowledge and knowing. You are right about that. The virgin giving birth to the Son is pure science. Yeah, science just means knowing or to know from Latin.
Clip and how all the Nazis came over here after World War II, and Werner von Braun was the president of NASA, and on his tombstone is Psalm 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the
Another
firmament showeth his handiwork. Now that was the president of NASA, a Nazi from Germany, and this dude died and put it on his tombstone about how the firmament showeth the handiwork of God, because they were masters of propaganda in Nazi Germany. He knew what he,
or because he was interested in space, and the Bible refers to space as the firmament many, many times, Bryce.
was trying to do. They were trying to get a generation of people that didn't believe in God and trusted in science. And guess what? The science is all lied about. Okay. Isaiah 40:22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, not a sphere. You think these people knew the difference in a circle and a sphere? I'm telling you right now that the earth is in the shape of a flat earth pilot's map. When a pilot goes to train and navigate around the world, they use a flat
Maps
earth
are
map.
flat, Bryce.
They call it a pilot's map. Flat earthers call it a flat earth map. And if you want to navigate internationally flying, you're going to use a flat earth map, and you can thank a flat earther, okay, for getting you where you need to be safely, because that's what pilots use, a flat earth map. Now, notice that that map is in the shape of a circle.
No, they use a flat. They use a flat map. Maps are flat. They use a flat map.
Sitting in heaven above.
Screens are flat.
Okay.
Maps are flat.
Isaiah 40:22. He sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Okay. Now we're getting a definition of something in the shape of a circle. Let's check out this verse here. Job 26:10. He hath compassed the waters with bounds. I looked up the word compass because I'm not smart enough to tell you what that means. I looked up, what does it mean? He compassed the waters with bounds. What does that mean?
He filled it.
Okay. Compassed equals go around in a circular course. So the waters are going around in a circular course with bounds. I'm telling you, that's exactly what flat earthers believe, that water is bound up in a circle by the ice wall. There's a North Pole, there's not a South Pole. That's why we can't go to Antarctica. We can't prove it wrong. They don't want people knowing it.
All right. I'm pausing a lot because we don't have time to watch this whole debate. I'm trying to wait till night in this game, but I can't click other stuff and get to night in this game. Let me show you something here. And I've had this discussion with Jamie. Okay. Here is a flat map. Here's a flat Earth map. Okay? This is flat Earth. Now, this would be we're looking at it top down. Okay. This would be your North Pole. This would be your ice wall. It's hard to do a circle within a circle on this paint. Okay. This is your ice wall. Now, if you took a boat, okay, let's say America is right here. Here's America. Little ding dong of Florida. All right. Here's America. There's other countries, of course, but now, first off, oh, actually, it would be flipped. America would be flipped. But anyway, here's a landmass. Okay. Now, first off, north, south, east, and west doesn't work on a flat. Well, east and west will work, but north and south does not work on a flat Earth map because south from this point is the opposite of south from this point. Now, they get mad about down being a different down in Australia because they don't understand what down means. But I do understand what south means. And south is not a different direction on different hemispheres of the flat Earth map, or of the map of the real world. If you go to separate, would it be the hemisphere? No, it would, because they don't believe in the sphere. It would be the the prime meridian. So this is the prime meridian, right, on a flat Earth map. If you go to different points of the prime meridian on the real world, you're not, south is still the same direction. But on a flat Earth map, south is opposite directions on different lines of the prime meridian, which is the central north to south line, time zone line. So anyway, the point is, if you took a boat and you went, I would assume on their map, I guess it would be south. If you went from anywhere, if you went south to the ice wall, ships have a port and a starboard. I took my boating license in 7th grade, so I don't remember which is which. Port. I think port is right and starboard's left. Does chat know? Port and starboard. I want to use boating terms here. Port and starboard. Port is left, starboard's right. Yeah, okay. So, you head, I guess what they would call south, to the ice wall. And then you turn your boat. If you turn your boat starboard when you get there, which is this way, which is right, and then you circumnavigate, meaning you follow the wall around. If you turn starboard on your ship and you follow this ice wall around, you would only turn starboard to circumnavigate it. You're only turning right? Because you're going in a circle right around the ice wall. Now, we have now here is the globe Earth, bottom down. So the ice wall is the South Pole. This is the globe Earth South Pole at the bottom. It looks like a nipple. Okay. And then we have a country over here. We sail south. And then we turn. If we head south to the South Pole and we turn starboard, which would be this way, right? Because our boat is heading south, that would be right. If our boat is going south, this would be to the right. If we turn starboard when we hit the South Pole and we circumnavigate the South Pole, we will only be turning port. Now, one of these things has been done and is done every single year. They do sailing trips where you can pay and you can buy a sailboat and you can go do a race where you circumnavigate the South Pole and you only turn starboard after turning port. If you turned starboard when you got there, you would only turn port to circumnavigate it. If you turned starboard when you went south on a flat Earth map, you would only turn starboard to circumnavigate. one of these things happens and is real, and we observe it, and we can experiment, and we can test it, and we can predict it, and we can guess it, and we can make a little drawing on MS Paint that explains it. And one of these things never has ever, or will ever happen. And it's the same thing with the North Pole. We could do the same thing with the North Pole. If I go north on a flat Earth map to the North Pole and I circumnavigate the North Pole, I turn starboard, I will only turn port. The reverse will be true on the North Pole of the flat Earth map. Done. Done. Debunked. Easily debunked. With MS Paint and common sense and knowing how to ride a boat and knowing how to drive around a freaking landmass. Like, come on, guys. Port is left, starboard's right. Yeah. How does a compass work with this ball Earth? How does a compass is a little pin that you put or it's a little tack that you put a pencil in and you draw a circle. Compass just means circle. How does a compass work with this ball Earth? Well, now we have to talk about magnets. We have to talk about the magnetic force. Looks like butt cheeks now. The reason the compass works and the reason the compass doesn't work in certain areas is because of magnetic forces. And the magnetic forces don't work on your flat Earth. The magnets would look like this, and the compass would not work on a flat Earth. The compass does work on a ball Earth but it doesn't work in certain places of ball Earth because of where it depends on where you are. This also explains why your weight is different near the equator than it is in different places on the equator. That explains the spinning of the Earth. And this is all like, this is not like NASA teaching people this. This is like 7th grade science class. This is like basic science. This is like science that you can draw in MS Paint and a dumbass like me can explain it. And it's pretty simple. Anyway. Well, it's pie. Don't tell me you're a flat earther. I didn't know that.
The Bible is correct. And then another thing with here we're regarding the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, right off the bat in Genesis, here we got Genesis 1:16, and God made two great lights, comma. He made the stars also. Okay, we're talking about it saying word for word, God made the sun and the moon and the stars. So these people back then knew that these are three separate entities. They have three separate words and three separate functions: sun, the moon, and the stars. And NASA is trying to tell us that all stars are the same thing as the sun, and that the sun is a star. Well, I'm here to tell.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain, Stubborn One. Just as simple as possible. But yeah, it's magnetic declination. It shows, and of course, these drawings and stuff are theories that we have based off of our observations and our experiments and our predictions. The way science works is you see something, you observe something, say, I wonder why that does what it does. I wonder why it works the way it works. Let me come up with a question. And then I'm going to test my question. I'm going to test my question in different ways. And then I'm going to try to predict what the answer will be. If my prediction is correct, then I was right. And my experiment shows it. Then once you do that, then you start coming up with ways to disprove what you predicted that was proven correct. Your hypothesis is proven correct. Now I'm going to try to find ways to break that. I'm going to see if there's ways to break through that. And then when you find something that breaks your experiment, then you have to do another experiment and test your new hypothesis based off what you learned from the last one. That's what science is. It's not some crazy conspiracy. It's just people trying to figure stuff out. And that's the ability that God gave us. God gave us a brain to figure this stuff out. It's sad to see the reverse Flynn effect. It really is sad to see. Like people are not, I don't know, they're not doing their due diligence to figure stuff out anymore. And I think the internet has a lot to do with it. Especially short form content, but even long form content, even like YouTube. When Flat Earth started on YouTube, I was like, oh man, this is the downfall of humanity right here. Like, not like spiritually, even though I do think it is leading people away from God sometimes, not all the time. But because it's it's so ignorant. It's so ignorant, and then a lot of them use the Bible and claim to be. This is what really irked me about the flat Earth movement, is that when I was in a flat Earth Facebook group for like 2 years, and I just argued with flat Earthers all the time for like 2 years in this Facebook group, and I finally left because what I realized is like 90% of them are Christians, and they're using the Bible. They're using the Bible to push this stuff. And atheists started this movement, the flat Earth, like, and oh man, and yeah, it just blew my mind, and I was like, wow, this is bad. Like, this is kind of important. That's why I don't like to talk about it, because, and the community of flat earthers are just so, oh man, they're the worst people. They're worse than juggalos, because they get so in like infatuated with it. And it's all that matters. They turn into a dang Jehovah's Witness. They'll kick you out of your family if you don't follow it. And that's a mess.
Tell you that the sun is not a star. It is the same size as the moon. It's in the firmament, just like the Bible says. And it's a counterpart of the moon. It's an exact counterpart of the moon. Stars are wandering, planets are wandering stars, but stars are lights. They're resonating, reverberating frequencies. And as far
Planets are wandering stars, but stars are lights, and the sun is the same size as the moon. Like, come on, man. Come on.
as we know, when you zoom in on them with the telescope, they're just lights that resonate in weird shapes, and we don't really know what they are, but they're certainly not the same thing as the sun.
But that's just because you don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You can't do that. Come on. There are many Christian scientists who helped advance all of this stuff that we understand about the universe and cosmology and the world, and this stuff is it's physical. So it really doesn't matter in the spiritual world. But if we're talking about physical science, we're talking about the physical world, you can't. This is why I don't like when liberals say that the right is science deniers. They're a bunch of flat earth Christian science deniers. I'm like, no, the left is science deniers. You guys think that there's 72 genders and that life doesn't start at conception, even though 96% of biological scientists agree that the best place to measure life from is from conception. 96% of them. So life does start at conception scientifically, observably, testably, and there are only two genders. They're playing a semantics game where they say gender isn't sex, but there's man and woman. It's very simple. Very simple, and it's scientific, and it's observable, and it's testable. So we can't be like them. We can't deny science. I know Catholics had a lot to do with it, but Christians in general, people who are seeking God and who are thinkers and who are great minds, a lot of them helped build science. And now, I don't know if people are mad at NASA or what. Like, NASA is not science. NASA is not the arbiter of science. Like, NASA didn't tell us that the world was round. Pythagoras, 2,500 years ago, dang near got his head cut off for saying the world was round. And he figured it out using triangles. Here's another one. This is a very easy rebuttal. Simple. Hold on, I gotta pull up the paint one more time. So if you had a circle, okay? This is a flat circle. If you took surveyor's equipment and you had a surveyor standing here, let's see. We have a surveyor here. We have a surveyor here. We have a surveyor here. And this is a right triangle, right? 90 degrees. Straight line. It's not a very straight line here. And then we measure a straight line here. I know this is not a right. If I could go from, there we go. Okay, my surveyor's standing in the wrong spot. This is a right triangle. We have a 90-degree spot between the laser. We have a laser. We have a surveyor with a laser here. We have a surveyor with a laser here. We have a surveyor with a laser here. We have a 90-degree right triangle, okay? Now, what's the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Pythagoras, thank you, buddy. So, we know the measurement of this is 400,000 feet. I don't know. Pick a number. We know the measurement of this is also 400,000 feet. We can use math and we can predict what the measure of C is. The hypotenuse. We can figure out the longest leg of the triangle by knowing these two legs of a right triangle. We have surveyor's equipment. We have the laser here, the laser here, the laser here. We take this number, and we should be able to accurately guess C, which is this number here. Okay? Now, on a flat Earth, we could do that. We could definitely do that. But on a globe Earth, that doesn't work. Why? Because if you have, let's imagine that this is a circle, and not a circle. This is a circle. This is a flat Earth circle. But let's imagine that this is now a sphere. You know, we make it a sphere. Boom. Now it's a sphere, right? It looks like a sphere. Now this is a ball. We take the same, excuse me. We take the same measurement of surveyor A to surveyor B. We take that measurement. We get a number. And then we go from surveyor B to surveyor C. We take that measurement. We get a number. We predict our hypotenuse, and we're wrong. Why is that? Well, because if you take the same right angle triangle and you put it onto a ball, and then you take that ball and you put it onto a flat map, it looks a little something like, hold on. Let me get to it here. This. When you take those surveyor layers at point A, B, and C on our Earth that we have, they've done this. This has been done, okay? People have done this. What we found is that the legs are too long. When you put the legs on a flat map, it looks like this. You can't explain that on a flat Earth. The only defense I've seen against this argument made by a flat earther was that our definition of a triangle is wrong. That's what he said. He said, well, we're defining a triangle as flat. Maybe a triangle actually has bowed edges, and that we're wrong about what a triangle is. And that's why when you do this experiment on the real world, you get bowed edges on your triangle because triangles actually have bowed edges. And the flat triangle is, what the, what? That was his argument. No, DJ on Paul. The angles will not equal 180. They equal out. The three angles will not equal to 180 on this globe Earth triangle. They'll equal, because these are obtuse angles at each edge. The triangle becomes the right angle triangle gets so instead of having 180 degrees between the three things, it bows out and you have three obtuse angles here, here, and here. And the angle it comes out to it doesn't make sense. Looks like 180? No. How does this look like 180 if this is more than 90? This is more than 90. Not obtuse, but yeah, it's not quite obtuse because it's obtuse is more than 90, right? Yeah, so it is obtuse. Acute is less than 90. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. But what I'm saying is that is still not 90 degrees. No, it's not. It's not. The angles aren't like this anymore. The angles are now like this. The angles open up. So it's not 90 degrees at each angle. It doesn't add up to 180. It adds up to whatever it adds up to. But it's not 180 because each of these angles is more than 90 degrees. The triangle is no longer a triangle. It's blown out. It's a blown out triangle. Acute is less than 90. Obtuse, I think I'm saying the right thing. Obtuse is more than 90 degrees. Yep, I'm pretty sure I'm right. But normally this would be a right angle, and then these would both be acute angles. But in the real world, when you do this with surveying equipment, you have, well, they're still acute. I guess these two are still acute, but they're not as cute. They're a little closer to 90. The point is, it adds up to more than 180. It adds up to more than 180. One acute and two obtuse. Something like that. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, it adds up to more than 180 on this triangle. When you do it on the globe, when you do a right triangle with surveying equipment on globe Earth, you don't come out with 180 degrees between the three angles. You come out with a weird thing that's not a triangle because the edges bow out. You could do this yourself. Go get a basketball, get a piece of paper, like a real flimsy piece of paper, put it over the ball and draw a triangle. And then take it out and lay it flat. It's not going to look like a triangle anymore. It's going to look like a weird opened up triangle. That is a cool program. What program? Wolf, that is a cool program. Okay. I got to beat this boss real quick before I got to go to work.
And I'll tell you, this is pretty easy if you look with your naked eye. If you look at a star, it goes twinkle, twinkle. If you look at the sun, it don't.
That's because they're far away, bro.
It's not a star. The sun and the moon are their own thing, and stars are their own thing. Also, we're talking about
stars
heavens,
twinkle.
Okay?
That's the
Every
argument.
single description of heaven.
Stars twinkle because they're far away, Bryce. Really, 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 really far away.
It won't say in the scripture God is sitting in heaven looking up, looking left, looking right. God is in heaven, and he looks down. And I'm telling you, we're below him. And if you look up, that's the heavens. Okay? And if the earth was spinning and rotating around the sun, and then the whole universe and the whole galaxy was expanding, up and down would change every 12 hours. So what I'm telling you is that if you go by the Bible, you'll see that they're lying deliberately.
Because he didn't have a good argument, DJ on Paul. He said, why would a flat earther tell... He didn't tell me this. This is in a debate I was watching, a modern day debate. He didn't have a good argument. So his only argument was, well, maybe we don't understand triangles properly, and we've misdefined triangles. It was like, what?
Because they don't want people to come back to the Bible.
All right, Bryce, that's your time. Thank you so much.
So Lord Spike, for that, you're gonna have to understand what the word level means. The word level does not mean flat. The word level means parallel to equal with the center of gravity. So that's just you're misusing the word level. And I know there's probably different levels of the word, different meanings of the word level. One of them means flat. Yes, when you're talking about a table and you want it level, you want it flat. But the level, water does not seek its own flatness. That's not true. That's not true. In fact, put a drop of water on a table. Bloop. Just drop a drop of water on the table, and you're going to see that it's not flat. It's going to be round. And that has to do with surface tension and gravity and all sorts of other different forces. But water level does not mean flat. When they say water seeks its own level, what they're saying is water seeks its center of gravity. It gets as close as it can to its center of gravity, which to us looks flat. And that's the level that they're talking about. Even the level, if you take a level at a construction site and you use it, the bubble in the level is not flat. Water is not flat. True flat isn't. I don't even think true flat is a thing. Or true level from the level you're talking about. Just like a true circle is not a thing. True sphere is not a thing. Everything's going to be off by like a molecule or something. But anyway, water gets as low as it can. People, they said water seeks its own level, and then now flat earthers have taken that and they've said that means water's flat. That's not what it means.
Much. Hey, chat, if you are just tuning in, that was Bryce's opening statement. That was 10 minutes.
Yeah, the proof that water bends is a raindrop, it's a wave, it's the ocean, it's a waterfall, it's a lake, it's what do you mean water bends all the time? It's when it's in a cup, it's curved. Water bends all the time. In fact, flat water is not a thing. There's never been a 100% flat water. You've never seen that. That doesn't make sense. That's crazy. All water is curved. Yes.
Minutes long. Okay, so I don't want, if you're just tuning in, I don't want you guys to miss it. Some of you guys are like, why are you doing this debate? Just rewind it to the very beginning.
Never seen flat water.
You can understand why this is happening.
You may think you
Bryce,
have.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to reset the time and get going. JP, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to start the time. 10 minutes.
And just so you know, JP doesn't do my side any favors here. I'm talking still water. Still water is still not flat. Still water is still not flat. I don't care how still the water is. There's still motion on the water. Maybe you can't see it down to that. Maybe you don't have micro vision and you can't see it, but the water's always moving. The water doesn't sit. There's no such thing as perfectly still. There's no such thing as perfectly flat. There's no such thing as perfectly round. You're talking about perfectly still? No. All water is moving. The water moves. The water waves. The water the water molds into the shape. Water doesn't just seek its own level. They always want to leave out the fact that water seeks the shape of whatever its container is. So water can be curved. You can make ice cubes. You can make ice cubes that are shaped like animals. That's curved water. It's crazy.
For JP's opening statement. Here we go.
All right, so fellas, I have the flu. So just call me Michael Jordan. You heard? Because we're going to perform. We're going to drop 55 real quick. But bear with me because I am.
You might be changing my mind.
All right, so fellas.
I'm telling you, you've never seen flat water. You've seen close to flat water, but throw a pebble at it and watch all the curves. Let a mosquito land on it. Let's see how flat it is. You know what it's going to look like? It's going to ripple. It's going to look like a sound wave. It's going to go boom, 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 boom. Water's not flat. Water doesn't seek its own level.
This flat earth stuff is one of the biggest delusions we've seen in old time history. Let me tell you why. Bryce believes, and he said in other videos, I'm not going to be responding to his opening statement at all, but Bryce believes that we must know the flat earth position in order to better understand the Bible.
Wrong.
This is not me responding to his opening statement, but let me get very clear because I wrote this in my notes in case anybody thinks I'm cheating. The Bible says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 2, it says, set your mind on the things above, not on the things of the earth. So we follow that principle. The whole idea that flat earth is something we must learn in order to better understand the Bible is false. In addition to that, we know that the Bible says that the carnal man will never understand what the scriptures are telling us. You need a touch of the Holy Spirit to truly understand. Where does it say that we must understand the size of the planet or how the planet looks at all? Now, there are a couple of passages that people that believe in flat earth use. For example, earth doesn't mean earth in all of the scriptures. And ends of the earth doesn't mean that it's a spot where you cannot inhabit. In the flat earth position, they believe that the outer area is all ice. So they say that that's the far distant ends of the earth, and they'll take scriptures out of context to say that this supports flat earth. Deuteronomy says this: the Lord will bring a nation against you from far away from the ends of the earth. Deuteronomy 28 says, and the Lord will scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other. But wait a minute. The flat earth position says that there is nobody in the ends of the earth. That's what the flat earth position says. The Bible says there are people there. And we know historically that that's the Babylonians. They were in the ends of the earth. So let's continue reading.
Hey, Steve, you're going to have to, this is a short stream tonight. You're going to have to go back and watch, but we pretty much debunked it conclusively, repeatedly.
It's interesting that he mentions the book of Psalm to support his flat earth. Now, I'm not talking about his opening statement, but in other videos he's done this. Psalm 19 verses 5 and 6 says that the sun is rising from the end of the heavens. That the sun is rising. In the flat earth map, that's impossible.
It never rises.
How could the sun rise on a flat earth map or on a flat earth shaped anything? That doesn't exist. It's just not logical. Earth doesn't always mean earth. For example, Genesis 11, dry land.
He keeps saying earth. He keeps talking about the dang earth. He does say earth too.
Land was called earth. Does this mean that wet land is not earth? So a lot of the passages that these guys are going to use, earth doesn't even mean earth.
Right. Earth could mean dirt. Earth could mean, I'm saying earth now. Earth could mean dirt. Earth could just mean the ground beneath your feet. Like earth, they have 1/12. Not even 1/12. I think they had 12,000 words in Hebrew or 14,000. I'm bad with numbers. I always say that because I might get the number wrong. Somebody's going to fact check me. But they had like 14,000 words in Hebrew, and we have like 140,000 words in American. So, yes, I said American. I speak American. Look at the spider spitting at me.
So let's carry on. Another example of this is in Genesis 11, verses 1, where we have the text that is set. The text says the whole earth had one language. Wait a minute.
Earth.
The planet itself talks? No, it doesn't. It's talking about the people. So this is an example.
Oh, I forgot that one. That's the best meme. Black Greta Thunberg saying they're going to destroy the earth.
Here, and we're going to continue going.
They've been destroyed.
I'm glad that he mentioned the light source of the moon. I'm glad that he mentioned it because we're going to tie that together, and that was in my presentation. So let's get that. The moon is not its own light source. Mark chapter 13, verse 24, we're going to break this down.
But again,
but in those days after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened.
Earth being stationary is a different argument. That's a whole different debate.
Matthew 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Notice something. When the sun is darkened, the moon will not give light. because the moon is not its own light source. The authors in Genesis chapter 1 were simply saying there were two great lights, because when the sun is out
And
in
they
the
didn't
day
understand yet.
and the sun sets or what have you, or goes away, whatever you want to say,
The moon
and the
doesn't
moon
give her
comes,
light
it's a
because
reflection.
the sun is
So
not
therefore you
shining
can
on
say
the
it's its
moon.
light, but it's not its own light source. Pillars.
That's also
Let's go
a
to
deep.
pillars.
Ooh, I just thought about this. That's also deep. That's also deep biblical stuff too, because it's not just cosmological. It's deep biblically, because the sun will not shine, so the moon will not give her light. They call the moon the woman, and the sun is the man. The sun does not shine, so the moon does not give her light, because the moon reflects the light of the sun. The woman reflects the light of the man. If the woman does not have the man, the woman does not give her light. Boom! The Bible just proved flat earth, and it proved that the moon reflects the light of the sun. Oh my goodness.
1 Samuel chapter 2, Job chapter 26, verse 10, Psalm 75. All of these verses that talk about pillars have its context. For example, in Psalm 75, when it talks about pillars, the context of pillars is leaders. Leaders are pillars. If we continue to read in Job chapter 38, verses 4, we see that he mentioned the division and the divide and things of that sort.
Dang, I was going to fight this boss tonight, but I have to wait till nighttime. And time doesn't progress in the game unless I'm clicked on the game. As soon as I click on the chat or something else, the game pauses. So I've been here for an hour and the freaking sun has not gone down in the game. Terraria is a flat earth. No, Terraria's got to be a round earth. Because watch, the sun is over there. It's going to set. Watch.
Which I was going to cover anyways. But if we look at the waters and we look at the divides and we look at all of these things and we look at the firmaments and we take this
Did I say the Bible proves flat earth? Maybe I misspoke. I meant the Bible proves round earth. What did I say? Did I say the Bible? I said the wrong thing, but I meant to say the Bible proves, at least with that verse, that the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, because they're going to get into a big argument about that. Bryce thinks that the moon is a luminary that is basically just a light in the sky. It could be a projection on the firmament. They don't know what it is. They just think it's some light in the sky. It's just a light. It's not. He says later, it could be made of cheese for all I know. I don't know what the moon is. I just think it's a light in the sky. I don't think the moon reflects the light from the sun. But that Bible verse just showed the moon reflects the light from the sun. So it proves the opposite of flat earth. What did I say? Did I say the wrong thing?
Literally, there's a problem. If you read all of Job 38, it finishes by saying that there's bars and doors in the ocean that cause the divide. Now,
I think JP been watching my channel. I think he took that one from me, because I really stressed over this in my Job review, or in my Job, when I did my Bible thumping on the story of Job. I really stressed on this, that the middle chunk of Job, the beginning, first chapter, and the last chapter is narrative. It's told in a narrative sense. But the whole middle chunk of Job is told as poetry. It's a story. It's a poetry story, because, of course, nobody was there to watch God and Satan having this discussion, right? This is a poem. It's a story somebody's telling. Actually, a lot of Bible literalists will get mad at me for saying this, but we don't actually know that Job was a real guy, was a guy or a story. It could just be a story that and we don't know who wrote it, but it was written during the time of Isaiah. I think it's assumed that Isaiah wrote it. And Isaiah was a dream interpreter and a prophet, and he could see the future. This is crazy stuff from back in the day. I think they had more connection with the spiritual world. And so Isaiah could have just been telling a story. We don't know. I'm not saying Job didn't happen. What I'm saying is it's truth, but it could be a story about truth, right? Because nobody was really watching. Maybe this is a dream Isaiah had where he saw God, and so he's inspired by God, and he writes this story. So it is God inspired, and it is truth. It is a truth. You can pull truth from that story, but we don't really know that Job was actually a man, right? And Bible thumper people will say that I'm a heretic for saying that. But anyway, the point is that if you understand how it's written, the first and last chapter are narrative, the rest is just poetry. And I really dug into this, how they'll take things from Job and literalize them, and then 2 verses later they won't literalize that same thing in the same poetic verse. So when they say the ocean has bars, I was locked in the bars of the ocean in the depths, he's talking about he's in the belly of a whale. Is this literal? Is it the Kraken? Did he get swallowed by the Kraken? Maybe. But I know there weren't jail bars in the belly of Kraken. There weren't jail bars. Maybe he's talking about the rib cage of the whale. We don't know how literal to take it or how not literal. So it's best to just understand that it was a poem, it was a story, and there aren't bars in the ocean. There aren't jail cells in the bellies of whales. But yeah, I think JP maybe. Did you get that from me, JP? Let me know.
We literally believe that there are bars and doors. I don't believe Aquaman is true. I mean, I get it. It's a good movie. But I don't believe Aquaman has doors down there. Let's carry on. I don't even think that Aquaman is real.
We're only going to get through the intros.
The earth is my
We'll listen to the rest of JP's intro, but then I got to go.
Isaiah chapter 66, verse 1. The Lord says, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What is the house that you would build for me? And what is the place of my rest? Well, my thing is this. If heaven is his throne and the earth is his footstool, my question is
God really
heaven
got his feet
shaped
up on earth?
like a literal throne?
And also, where are God's feet? If the earth is God's footstool, where are his feet? Is that the Devil's Rock? No, that wouldn't be the Devil's Rock. The rock in Montana. Where are Devil's feet at? Or I mean, where? I'm misspeaking. I'm almost blaspheming in misspeaking. I was thinking about Devil's Rock because the tree stump, that they say for Tartaria and all that. Where are God's feet? If the world is God's footstool, where are his feet? Why is he never putting his feet up? And when he puts his feet up, how come we don't see 2 giant feet sticking up into the sky? I don't think anybody's ever seen that yet. If a flat earther can show me God's feet sticking up into the sky, I will convert to be a flat earther and I will use the Bible to prove it, just like they do. But I won't have to twist the Bible like they do. If I see God's feet sticking up in the sky, I'll say, yep, the earth is God's footstool. Yep, that's not poetry.
So we see all through these passages, when we read them in context, they don't support flat earth. In fact, there's not one single biblical passage that supports flat earth. Not a single one. As I mentioned earlier, the sun rising, that wouldn't make sense in a flat earth world. As I mentioned before, the moon isn't its own light source because the New Testament makes that very, very clear. You can say, oh, Genesis says it's its own light source. No. Look at the order of operations. The sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Matthew 24, one more time. The sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. If you can find me one biblical passage where the moon...
And see how in the New Testament, they took out her and they made it it's. That could be a newer translation of the Bible, but I bet it's still her. The moon shall not give her light. I bet it's still her in the New Testament because they're probably quoting from the Old Testament. which is what a lot of the New Testament is just Jesus is just telling stories from the Old Testament, or parables or quoting. But I bet that it also says in Matthew originally, the moon shall not give her light. And I like that better. But they might have taken that out in some newer translation of the Bible because they wanted to degenderify it or whatever, like a new international version or a women's The Message or something. One of these weird translations they might have wanted to destigmatize the misogyny, so we took the gendered language out. But pretty sure that the moon shall not give her light is purposeful.
Loses its light, and then the sun is darkened, you have an argument. But unfortunately, this proves that the moon is not its own light source. Because if the moon loses its light, it's because the sun was darkened first. So that's game over right there.
Facts.
That shuts it down. Again with the pillars, we're gonna, because I still have 2 minutes, so we're gonna homer this home real quick. Again with the pillars, there's nothing that suggests that there are actual real pillars holding the earth. I mean, if you believe that, you might as well believe Superman's the one holding these pillars. There's nothing in the text that suggests that these pillars are real. Each of them have its context. And one more time,
he covers
if there
this
truly
well.
are footstools out here and things of that sort that this guy or flat earthers in general talk about, my question is this: is heaven shaped like a throne? That's what I really want to know.
Where
Because
God's
if I
feet.
die and I go to heaven and I go to a heaven-shaped throne, I mean, how far are we going to go with this stuff? These claims here, and it's a good thing I don't believe in evolution either. Because I do not believe that if you believe in a round earth, that
you automatically
you believe in evolution as a result. And last but not least, the circle that God stands before the circle of the world, we're going to leave that for Q&A. So I'm not going to use all of my time because I got a home run for that one. So
I'd say if you believe in flat earth, you're probably more susceptible to believe in evolution, because evolution is historical science, not real science. We can't observe it and test it, and it's guesses that they made that they haven't proven or disproven. Actually, a lot of it's been disproven. And even Darwin didn't say a lot of the things that they say. He said he was talking about adaptation. He only observed adaptation. But evolution has not been shown to be true, yet people believe in it. Whereas flat earth has not been shown to be true, but people believe in it. Whereas the shape of the earth being round, I've believed that because it's been shown to be true. We can observe it, we can test it, we can experiment with it, we can make hypotheses, improve our hypotheses, and all that stuff. We can see it. We can see it, we can touch it. But you can't see and touch and taste flat earth. And the flat earthers know that too, because they're always like, well, give us a better model that proves this point here. They're like, well, I don't have a model. I'm just saying your model's wrong. Oh, so you're not a flat earther. You're just a globe earth denier. You don't know what shape the world is in. You have no idea. It could be a pizza. It could be inverted. Maybe it's hollow earth. Maybe we have convex earth. What kind of earth do we have? You don't know. You just call yourself a flat earth because it's popular. Like, good point, JP.
That's 49 seconds there. I broke down every single biblical passage the flat earthers would use.
Not every
I'd
single
say this
one,
is a
but
home run.
A couple of them.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got time to play. I'm glad I got through the intros. But it's a good debate. You guys could go watch it on Bless God Studios. That's Ruslan's channel. He's a big YouTuber. If you don't know who Ruslan is, then but JP's cool. JP Uncut. He's cool. He'll call you a heretic if you question the Trinity. But other than that, he's cool. Bryce, UFC fighter, based dude, cool dude. I love Bryce Mitchell. I wanted him to be champion. He didn't get the belt. He had a shot. Hopefully he gets another shot. But definitely want to see Bryce as champion. in the UFC. But I think he should stick to fighting and knocking people out and doing base little 1-minute interviews in the octagon instead of doing flat earth debates. Because he doesn't do the flat earthers any favors in this. And that's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. I didn't fight the boss in the game. But I don't know if I'll be doing a little short stream like this tomorrow. I'd like to. Depends on what time I fall asleep. But Friday night, we got the Star Wars Lego set. Friday night snore stream. While everybody's falling asleep, I'm going to be putting together a little Lego set. It's not a big Lego set. This will only take me like an hour, 2 hours. But we got a little Obi-Wan spaceship Lego set to put together on Friday. And then we'll do Saturday night fight nights. Drop his channel, JS, who I just closed it. JP Uncut, and I'm not gonna drop Ruslan's channel because he's got like 20 channels and you can find him, but I'll drop JP's channel. And I don't know if Bryce has a channel. But JP Uncut's been in the chat before. I think I might have been reacting to one of his debates or something, and he came in here. But maybe we could talk to him someday. That'd be cool. I guess the only thing we'd probably just argue about the Trinity. I think I agree with most of what he says. But anyway, I'm gonna head out, guys. Have a good night. God bless everybody. Be safe. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe not, but for sure, Friday, Legos, snore stream on Friday. Saturday, fight nights. Well, I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.